AOC gave the most important feminist speech in a generation. My wife had a really bad day at work and her boss believes he can't be misogynistic because he has a wife and 2 daughters. Showing her this video really helped her. Thank you, AOC, for helping my wife realize she's not to be a mat for others to walk on. Decency is not earned by knowing women in your family. Decency is practiced and demonstrated by actions. I hope your wife tells her boss where to put it. What I love about her is that her words speak to everyone, not just those who support her. You can be a devout Republican woman your whole life and still identify with her speech. She will move mountains soon enough. If you are a devout Republican woman, then the speech 100% applies to you, lol. Also, it is disturbing that people can be classified as devoted to a political party. This is the part of the speech I imagine will be run by Fox News. AOC, Mr. Yoho defended his actions by saying he has daughters. But I'm also a daughter. And I'm grateful that my father is not alive to hear the things that Mr. Yoho said about me. Fox News plays clip. And I'm grateful my father is not alive. Fox News, you heard it here, folks. AOC is glad her father is dead. Apostrophe. It was more than a feminist speech. It was just perfect on every level. From not wanting the generic, funny apology, which is how these things always go, to putting things in perspective. She knocked it out of the park. Wish we heard American politicians communicate like that more often. Edit. I think this is my first comment to exceed 1k and it couldn't be for a better post. I'm a straight white male from the southeastern section of the USA, and AOC represents me better than anyone else in the House of Representatives. I hope that the future of the Democratic Party is more like her. Some women take a more sideways approach, reclaiming an insult like nevertheless. She persisted in turning it into something empowering. It seems weird they didn't name Senator Warren directly here. Maybe they assume everybody already knows this quote is associated with her. But you never know who doesn't know something. Definitely some quotable that will be remembered for a long time. But on the whole the speech was average for her. It was unique because of where it was made. This was the best bit. And so, what I believe is that having a daughter does not make a man decent. Having a wife does not make a decent man. Treating people with dignity and respect makes a decent man. And when a decent man messes up, as we all are bound to do, he tries his best and does apologize. Not to save face. Not to win a vote. He apologizes genuinely to repair and acknowledge the harm done, so that we can all move on. 2018. Why is the right so determined to make AOC a star? 2019. Wow. She just is a star. 2020. More of that. She's the definition of rising to the occasion. The GOP are literally making her stronger by going after her. You love to see it. I cried watching. I'm so glad that young female voices like her, and specifically her, are stepping up. I'm so proud. It's time. We need it. She's also the most dangerous politician in a decade to the GOP agenda. She's got hilarious brain power and drive. Better political instincts. And you could see yourself having a beer with her. Republicans are going to pull out all the stops with her. I don't hear many speeches that I consider moving. This speech was moving. And I don't say that lightly. She explained the problem without sounding like a victim, and thus took away the main criticism that anyone could levy against her. Don't misunderstand me. Her detractors will insist that she is somehow acting as a victim, but no one that listens to her speech can hear anything remotely related to victimhood unless they are so blinded by hate or so utterly partisan that they refuse to genuinely listen. She said nothing political in this speech, so anyone implying or stating that she is being political are just being pathetically dishonest, and that's sad. She spoke only to the mistreatment of women by misogynistic assholes, and perfectly explained why his "I have a wife and daughters" is not a good excuse. In fact, it's worse than a bad excuse. It was an attempt to justify his behavior. His statement on the other hand was the equivalent of "I can't be racist. Some of my best friends are black." She's right, having a mother, wife or daughter does not make you a decent man. Being a male is a matter of birth. Being a man is a matter of age. But being a gentleman /Zero is a matter of choice. Drake. Her policy is young, but stucking real. She sleeps and bounds ahead of where she should be at her age. People that are trying to tear her down are just afraid of her potential. I really hope she lives up to it. I love how she did this and got a clear victory by exemplifying class. She puts Yoho in a corner delivering a powerful speech like that to follow up his limp apology, if you even want to call it that. And Hez talking about not apologizing for his god. Following up an action that would get anyone else fired by verbally assaulting a young woman like that. Her speech was so personal to me. I was yelled at by a male colleague and called me many horrible names in front of my peers and my boss. My boss did nothing. He told her he was on edge because he was having marital issues. He then verbally attacked me 2 additional times. Nothing happened. He was actually promoted. People tell me to get over it all the time. I'm so grateful for AOC in this speech. I feel somewhat vindicated. Warm. My old boss used to call women he didn't like skanks and whores. I was indispensable at that job, so I would call him out. He'd always say, "What? I have 6 daughters. I'm a feminist." Always. Every time. Hiding behind the women and girls in his family. I ducking hated that job. Duck you. David. Yo, you females are ETOOSENSITIVE. Yeah, duck David, happy cake day. Regardless of your personal opinion of AOC, the fact that this incident even happened is absolutely abhorrent. Let's all remember that Yoho's job is to represent his constituents while in DC. I'd love to know how they feel about him spending his time and their taxpayer dollars accosting his coworker with slurs on the steps of the goddamn Capitol building in front of members of the press. As the father of a daughter, I hope sincerely she becomes president of this country. Insane how AOC makes so many Republicans pissed. You have fake outrage from people in her about the feminist aspect of the title. You all hate feminism, yet you're trying to come in here and spark outrage by the title? AOC didn't write the title, you inbred ducks. Keep getting mad at AOC. More similar to her are coming. Is it just me, or does she come out on top of every interaction she has with the Republicans? I mean, they keep giving her ammunition and free publicity time and time again. They'd be smarter to just leave her alone. The more I see and hear from this lady, the more I'm impressed. She is quite extraordinary. Her communication language is clear, unencumbered by the emotions that so often derail feminist talk. No slander, no name calling, no tears, no anger, just plain in your face facts. It is a delight to see and hear. She puts her peers to shame. Nancy Pelosi should take a leaf out of her book. An embarrassment to US politics. I can see AOC for president if she keeps this up. There is so much of this. I'm the bully and the victim, now that I've been called out. In present day culture, it's BS. If you act like an asshole and people stand up to you, you are not the victim. You are in the wrong. You need to genuinely apologize, admit wrongdoing, and do everything you can to be better going forward. Oh, I did nothing wrong. I'm the good guy here BS. No, not a valid excuse anymore, or ever. Well, as a man from England, I could be totally wrong here, but that looks like a future president, possibly the first female president to me. She has it all. As a woman, she amazes me and inspires me. She gives me hope in this male-dominated sexist world as politics. I wish her all the best, and I hope to vote for her as my president someday. Yoho harassed Ocasio-Cortez in the halls of Congress on Monday, calling her disgusting because of her fairly commonplace views on poverty. Then, he walked away and called her a ducking bitch as a reporter from The Hill looked on. Stay classy, Yoho, and professional. Politically, I have much to disagree with AOC. This speech and the arguments she makes about decency, I have absolutely no disagreement with. Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, you are right. Our country is stronger and healthier when we have diversity of race, gender, religion, ideology, and politics, and can discuss and debate while maintaining civility and decency. Thank you for standing up and demanding decency. I would like to hear from the people who feel that way about her or anyone like her. Why don't they simply disagree with her ideas? Why do they personally attack her? Or her being a woman or Latina? Isn't that part of what makes America a open society? We accept others and try and treat others as equal. I would like to know what is in these people's hearts. My friend made a comment, like I don't think a man would be that offended over that comment. And I replied, do you think people should be treated this way in general? Women like AOC are raising the standard and changing the status quo on how people in general should be treated, which is with respect. Thank you AOC for empowering all of us to stand up against anything that is less than what we deserve. Can someone with a Wikipedia account please update Ted Yoho's page? It's a yoho page right now, so only auto-confirmed accounts can update. Under controversies it says, in July 2020, Yoho got into a heated exchange with Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Please change to in July 2020. Yoho accosted Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez just like the title of the damn linked source says. However you feel about her politics, the reaction to a first-term member of Congress is unbelievable. This is angry, old, white men afraid, scared shitless, that a young Hispanic woman has come to power. They'd be less obviously frightened if werewolves were set loose in Congress. Method duck in ducky air. Recognize that shit was inspired, flawless, coherent, moving and poignant. If you don't think that was real shit, then duck you. Most important speech in a generation is a huge over-exaggeration. Malala Yousafzai's speech at the Nobel Prize was far more of an important feminist speech than this. AOC was elected to the highest legislative body in the US and was called a few bad words by some asshole. Malala was shot in the head for wanting to go to school as a girl. Give me a break. I'm not a huge fan of the title. This is not a feminist statement. This is the truth about how powerful, mostly white, men have kept members of this country down for hundreds of years. The suffrage movement was not that long ago, as history goes, but American history is rather short. There has not been a time in anyone's life where powerful white men have not suppressed at will, rarely to be called out or to own it. Those that think are beneath them, closer to 50 than 40 white dude. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.